Στην Αθήνα, εν ώψη της αυριανής συνεδρίας του Διοικητικού Συμβουλίου της Ευρωπαϊκής Κεντρικής Τράπεζας, βρίσκεται η Κριστίν Λαγκάρτ, η πρόεδρος της Ευρωτράπεζας. Μίλησε στον SKAI για τον εφιάλτη των τιμών, τον κίνδυνο νέων πληθωριστικών πιέσεων λόγω της ανάφλεξης στη Μέση Ανατολή, αλλά και τις προοπτικές της ελληνικής οικονομίας.
ECB's board will meet tomorrow in Athens to decide the next steps of European monetary policy, but this happens in a very heavy, volatile international environment due to the crisis in the Middle East. So I would like to ask you first if you are concerned about the possible new energy crisis and of a possible new round of inflationary pressures. Have you run the scenario in the ECB?
Well, let me first say that the first thoughts and the first sadness is for those people who are losing life and are being wounded in this horrific developments that we are seeing in the Middle East. That's first and foremost. And then, of course, as central bankers, we have to look at the possible consequences of any kind of conflicts and turmoil around the world. So we are monitoring carefully the situation, and we are looking at prices, we're looking at futures, we're looking at what impact it could have on energy prices, which of course is a major component of our life and which has been a key driver of the round of inflation that we had in the last 3 years now. So we are monitoring.
Europeans and Greeks as well struggle under the pressure of the combination of high interest rates and high prices. I wonder if you think it's time for the European governments to do more to fight inflation.
It's an interesting question because for governments to do more probably means doing less. And this is what we central bankers have been advocating recently. That the fiscal stimulus and the fiscal supports that were provided to people, to small businesses, to large businesses during the height of the crisis. Now the energy prices have faded. I'm not suggesting that they are all the way down, but now that the crisis has faded, it's time to roll back those measures, and that will be the best way to help us tame inflation and bring it back to 2% in the medium term.
People wonder whether the prices will ever get back to the normal, let's say, levels. Inflation will get decreased at some point, but what about the prices? Will they ever get back to normal levels?
Also a very good question. The price levels have gone up and will probably stay up. What we are trying to do is to bring inflation down to 2%, meaning that the price increases will be reduced and stable. That's the mission of the ECB, price stability. But the price levels have increased and it will not return to the pre-COVID situation, nor will salaries return to the pre-COVID situation. So we are moving into a different era.
What about the prospects of the Greek economy, Madam President? We gained back the investment grade after so many years. The first big deal after 17 years in the bank sector is about to happen. And I want to ask you whether you see any dangers from now on.
The first thing I see about the Greek economy is some very, very positive signals and good numbers. When I look at my average euro area numbers and I look at Greek numbers, they are above the average in the euro area, except on unemployment, where it's still a bit higher, although at the lowest level it has been since 2009. So what you have mentioned, back to investment grade, the proposal to acquire a stake in one of the large Greek banks, those are really positive signals of restored confidence in the Greek economy. Now, has the Greek economy completed all the reforms that have to be completed in order to improve productivity, in order to deliver all the growth potential? Probably not. There is still work to do, and there is always work to do.
Looking back, how do you feel about the Greek crisis? And if you could change something in the IMF and in the European recipe towards Greece, what would this be?
My best recipe would be for the euro area, in addition to having monetary union, to have fiscal union, to have banking union, and to have a capital market union.
My final question is a bit personal. Is there any special moment that you remember from that period?
The two moments I'll never forget. One was a Sunday Easter spent in Washington, D.C., in my office at the IMF with the then Finance Minister of Greece. The second one is probably July 13th, 2015, which was the day before Bastille Day in France, and where we spent the whole day and most of the night together with Euro area leaders, the Prime Minister of Greece, debating the way out, which had to be a way in, out of the crisis and in the Euro area.